barely a trickle of corporate news due in the week that follows the long Easter break, so macroeconomic news could be the source of major headlines if there are going to be any. A slew of jobs numbers is likely to dominate in the USA, notably job openings on Tuesday the 2nd of April, weekly initial unemployment claims on the 4th, and non-farm payrolls and wage growth on the 5th. Here in the UK, the biggest potential source of a fuss is the latest monthly mortgage approvals data from the Bank of England on Tuesday the 2nd, followed by the Halifax house price survey on Friday the 5th of April. From the perspective of the stock market, house building companies will be watching these data releases with interest, and so will estate agents, whether they're online-only portals such as Rightmove or longer established players such as Savills and Foxtons. The mortgage approvals figure will cover the month of February, and there'll be two benchmarks. The 55,227 figure recorded in January, the highest mark, by the way, since October 2022, and the 43,392 registered in the February before. Now, this first graphic looked at the past 5 years' data, and it'll be interesting to see if the possibility of interest rate cuts in the Bank of England this year and the attendant reductions in mortgage rates this could bring will provide a boost to demand. If so, the post-Trussonomics panic lows of autumn to early 2022 to early 23 could prove to be the lows, although house builders such as Persimmon, Taylor Wimpey and Bellway have generally flagged tentative improvements in sales per outlet per week and reservation rates in their outlook sections of the latest results or trading updates. In each case, the builders cited weak consumer confidence as a potential challenge, and you can see why. A house and a mortgage are probably the biggest financial commitment anyone's likely to take on, and the major purchase subcomponent of the monthly UK consumer sentiment survey from consultant GfK is still nearer its historic lows than its historic highs, as indeed is the headline reading, despite some recent improvement. While that improvement from the 22-23 lows is welcome, the January 2024 reading of around 55,000 mortgage approvals is still no blockbuster. Intriguingly, it's almost unchanged in relation to April 2013's total of 56,100, and that was the month when George Osborne, the then Chancellor of the Exchequer, introduced the Help to Buy scheme. Make of that what you will, but housing demand may have got a fillip from that scheme, which closed to new loans in October 2022, and also the stamp duty land tax break that ran during the pandemic from July 2020 to September 2021. Go even further back, and mortgage approvals are nowhere near their pre-financial crisis high of 126,000 a month in November 2006, or for that matter, the 1988 zenith of just over 150,000. There are many possible reasons for this. Builders will complain about red tape and planning bureaucracy. Banks will point to the annual stress tests which oblige them to prepare for a collapse in property prices and a surge in interest rates and base their lending upon those numbers, not current conditions. While would-be buyers may point to stamp duty and higher mortgage costs, although in the latter case do bear in mind that the Bank of England base rate was 5% in November 2006, just a quarter point below where we are now, while in spring 1988 the headline cost of money was just above 8%, albeit on the way to nearly 15% in double quick time. That rapid late succession of rate rises punctured the late 1980s housing boom, and ultimately housing affordability seems to be the key. And that includes not just the purchase price, but the total interest bill, and it does so relative to wages and not just in absolute terms. This is why the latest monthly Halifax house price survey will be so interesting. House builders have ridden a decade-long surge in house prices, but they now seem to have stalled, and input costs have outstripped price increases, with the result that profits peaked for the quoted builders actually in 2018, even allowing for the pandemic dip and then the lockdown boom. In February 2024, Halifax's data showed a fifth straight increase in the average UK house price to just under £292,000, and that was 2 percentage points higher, very roughly, on February 2023. Now, the Office for National Statistics, that produces a slightly lower average national figure at £282,000, but either way, those numbers compare to an average UK salary, including bonuses, of around £35,000 a year, again using Office for National Statistics numbers. As such, the average house price in the UK represents around 8 times the average salary. That compares to 6.7 times in April 2013 when Help to Buy started, which sort of makes you wonder whether Help to Buy helped or hindered. Either way, Rightmove shareholders will be looking on with interest. Its shares are not that much higher than they were 5 years ago. Like many others, they plunged in early 2020, surged during a lockdown boom, again stoked by stamp duty tax breaks and an extension to Help to Buy, before a renewed cooling of the housing market in the face of higher interest rates and mortgage costs. The arrival of American rival CoStar via its acquisition of On the Market is another issue to consider for Rightmove shareholders. I hope that you and your families are all well. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.